I'm going to show everyone today how to use the date formatter. With the date formatter, you can do all kinds of cool things with dates. You can take a date that's in one format and you can manipulate it with ease and get it into a completely different format. And why would you want to do that? Well, this is helpful when you're working with multiple different software tools. And one tool is giving you back a response of a date, and the date maybe is an American format. Let's say it's the month, the day, and then the 4-digit year. And then you need to take that data and load it into another software tool, and they only accept another date type, which is the more universal standard date, where it's the year, and then the month, and then the day, separated by dashes, or slashes even, so some APIs are very particular in the way that they handle dates. And we built a nice date formatter to address that. And another cool thing you can do with the date formatter is add time or subtract time, just by telling it to say minus 3 days. You literally type out minus 3 days, and our function will literally subtract 3 days and return to you the correct formatted date. If this is confusing, don't worry. I'm going to show you an example here. We have an Airtable database, and when a new row is added to that Airtable database, it's going to trigger our workflow. And the trigger is going to set off these actions. The first action is going to send an email using our Gmail account. And then we're going to find that email looking up its ID from the previous step. And this will basically unfurl the email body, the subject, who it's from. It'll give us all the data about that email. And then finally, we want to create a new task in our Todoist account, which is a task management tool. So we can open this up and see what's going on in here. So here we have our send email, and this is the data that were returned. And then we have the Gmail find the email. So this shows us all the data about that email, including the subject, who it's from, who it's to, and here we have the snippet and the HTML body and the plain text body of that email. So then what we're doing is we want to create a task in Todoist. So we want the body to say the subject of our email from, and then dynamically update who it's from. And then we could even come out here and add in a couple dashes, and let's throw in the snippet. Okay, great. So now we can also have the snippet in there. So we have a really good task content now. And we have this area here to put in the human defined due date. So when is this going to be due? Let's say we want it to always be due the following day after this email was sent. So right now, all we have is the date that the email was sent. And it's in kind of a crazy format. So right here we have the date. It's in this weird Thursday, 31 Mar 2022 and some time, right? So that's not how we want it to look. So how are we going to get from this point to having a date that we can work with? Well, we're going to use the date formatter. So we're going to move this box here, that action step for Todoist, and then we're going to click on this wrench and we're going to unlink these two steps. So now that kind of breaks the command chain here. We're going to add a new step, and we're going to reach into our toolbox, and we're going to use the date format. And with date format, there's a nifty function here to add or subtract date time. Then we just input the date that we want to modify. So scroll through here and we find our date. And we want to, let's read these instructions here. So we want to add one day to it. And then the format, let's change the format to something that's more common. And so there we go. There we have it. It's added one day to it now. So let's save and close. And now, we're going to relink these two steps. We'll drag it down just a little more. And now we just reconnect it just by dragging the plus sign and connecting it to the circle above. And now let's click into Todoist, go back to setting up our action. And now we can reference that date that we created. It's right there. We already have our Todoist account selected. And let's test the action. And there we go. Our task was created in Todoist. And here we go. Let's open this. And there it is. It's already in there. So that's fantastic. And this is a great example of how to use the date formatting system to add, subtract time, and to also format date going from one date format to another.